Hello brothers and sisters, welcome to another episode here on Dangerous African Confessions HD. In this episode, we have this conversation with our sister, who talked to us about the kind of experience she had with a prophet who had promised to help her heal from her problem, which later ended up being something sinister from the initial talk. Let us go into today's video and listen to what our sister has for us. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and also do like and share this video, so others out there can also benefit from this conversation, and hit the notification bell as well, so you will be notified anytime we upload videos.
You see, I grew up in a small village where we were taught that our faith would protect us, that the right words from the right person could heal us. I once believed in the power of prayer, in the words of the prophets. And when I first met Prophet Jude, I thought I had found salvation. I didn't know that he would be the one who would destroy me. I was just a simple woman, struggling to hold my marriage together. My husband and I were drifting apart, and I was desperate. That's when I met him, Prophet Jude. The man everyone said could help me. When I first saw him, standing before his congregation with that calm, authoritative voice, I believed every word he spoke. And the people in the congregation looked at him with admiration and reverence. After the sermon, he spoke to me like I was the only one there. He knew things about me, about my heartache, my pain. I thought it was divine. That maybe, just maybe, God had sent him to save me. I started visiting him more often. He would call me to the front during services, lay his hands on me, whisper words of healing into my ears. And for a while, I felt like I was floating. I started visiting the church like I told you earlier. But one day, it changed. He invited me to his home. He told me it would be private, so we can pray more deeply. I was hesitant, but I trusted him. I went. So, when I visited him in his house, I was asked to sit on a couch. It was uncomfortable, but still trusting, I sat in the couch. When he started having the conversation with me, I remember he telling me that God is showing him my unspoken pain, and that God has a special mission for my life. He asked me to come to where he was sitting because we needed to hold hands and start praying. So, I sat beside him and I felt him start to touch me. That was when we started the prayers. You see, looking back, I feel I was just not smart enough. I didn't act wisely. He told me that my spirit needed more than prayer. He told me that my brokenness could only be healed through intimacy with the divine, through him. And at that moment, I felt special. I felt seen. He said, "You are chosen." You see, it started slowly, so subtle that you wouldn't even notice at first. Prophet Jude had a way of making you feel special. I don't know how he did it, but he could look at you, and you would feel like you were the only one in the room. It was like being enveloped in a warm, spiritual embrace. It wasn't love, not in any real sense, but at the time, I thought it was something close to it. I thought it was divine. He knew our weaknesses, our fears, our desires. He had a gift, or at least, that's what we all thought. He would pray over each of us and call us to the front during services, always with the same words. God has a special plan for you, he would say. You are destined for greatness. He would look deep into your eyes, and you'd feel like your soul was being laid bare. And when he spoke, when he used his prophetic gift, you believed him. He'd tell you things about your life, things no one else could possibly know. Personal things. You'd be amazed, in awe of him. He made you believe he had a direct line to God. You see, one thing that probably I must tell you is that he would look at you like he could see into your soul, like he could heal every scar you had if only you trust him enough. And that's where he had us, trusting him. That's where the manipulation started. He would always tell you that you must be willing to surrender all to the Lord for your blessing. These statements sounded innocent and genuine at first. But it wasn't just about giving to God, it was about giving to him. He said that he sees that my heart is heavy and questions me if I was suffering or not. He told me that the Lord is revealing to him that there is something blocking my breakthrough, something that is preventing me from receiving the full blessings he has for me. And as such, only through full submission can I receive my healing. I remember he saying that, sometimes, the Lord asks us to sacrifice in ways that may not make sense. But he does this for a reason. He said I must trust him, trust the calling God has placed on his life. He then said that to be healed, to be whole, I must surrender myself completely. What he sees is that my spirit is yearning for connection, and he is the vessel that can guide me, and so I should trust him completely. That day, he did nothing aside the prayers he did for me. So, after about a week or so, he called me that I should come home because the Lord is asking him to go through some directions with me. When I went to the house, he told me that I came to him because I trust him, which I said yes to him. He told me that I have seen his works, the healing he's done for others. And so, all that he is asking is that I allow him to help me, to bring me closer to the Lord. And then he repeated the same thing, that I must open myself fully. Surrender. The Lord has shown him that my deliverance is tied to my willingness to submit to his plan, and his plan involves me. He then told me that it is through his hands that the Lord works. And it is through his touch that the healing happens. And that was when it happened. The first time I let him touch me, I thought it was divine, a sacred connection. But deep inside, something told me I had crossed a line. But I didn't know then that I was just one of many women he had preyed upon. One by one, he lured us in, using the power of God as his weapon. Over time, Prophet Jude becomes more brazen in his manipulation. He uses the vulnerability of women in his congregation, isolating us with false promises of divine favor, using his prophetic gifts as both carrot and stick to control the people. You see, it was always the same pattern. First, he made you believe that you were chosen. And that you are special, that you had a unique purpose. Then, he would tell you that your bodies were sacred vessels, but they needed to be purged, to be healed. And the only way to do that was through intimate connection, spiritual connection, between the two of you. That is how mine was done, same as my friend Titi. You see, my brother, I got to know that a lot of the ladies have been through it. And they were afraid to talk about it. He would convince them that they could not be healed unless they fully submitted to him, that their blessings would only come if they allowed him to purify them. The thing which is dangerous is that he didn't just use his prophetic gift, he weaponized it. He said that God had shown him that your spiritual blockages could only be removed through physical connection. And in the desperation, you will believe him. When a pastor that you believe so much in tells you that God has shown me your sins, your weaknesses. If you do not open yourself to his work, if you resist what he has called you to do, he will punish you. What will you do? Your blessings will be delayed, your breakthrough will be denied. Do not resist the hand of God as it moves through me. If you wish to prosper, you must follow his plan. And his plan, my children, is for you to submit to his servant. So, in the mix of all those sayings about punishment, you will come to the conclusion to do it with him, so that ignorantly you will think that you will get the answers that you deserve. You see, the fear was real. The fear that if you didn't obey him, you would be lost. That somehow, your future would be condemned, and you would miss your opportunity for salvation. He knew how to manipulate that fear. He knew how to twist our beliefs into chains that bound us to him. It wasn't just physical. It was spiritual violence. He had us convinced that we were doing God's will. That our surrender was not just necessary, it was required for us to be blessed. And when you give in, when you let him take what he wanted, he makes you believe it was for your own good. That it was the only way to receive God's grace. One reason why I do want to share this about myself and others who fell victim to this man is that, my fellow women, do not allow yourself to be involved with any pastor for that matter. Because like our own, he didn't just take our bodies. He took our souls, the sense of worth. He made us to believe that we were nothing without him. He broke us, piece by piece, and we didn't even know it. And I am saying this because I was one of the women who fell for that. I tell you, my sisters especially, when you get involved intimately with a prophet, you are exchanging your very essence with such a prophet. And if care is not taken and you don't seek the face of the Lord, your life will end up in a way you will never like it. You see, I was lucky and for some reason, God saw me through this. But my friend Titi lost her life as a result of her involvement with the pastor. Titi never deserved what happened to her. She was always the strong one between us. But when her mother passed, she lost something inside her, something that could never be replaced. And that's when Prophet Jide stepped in. The funny thing is that he had a way of appearing just when you needed him the most. This was around the same time I was also going through my own struggles. And so, sometimes we visit the prophet together in his office. But for the house, I thought I was the only one he was seeing in his house until my friend told me about her experience with him. When Titi told me about how he was talking to her and making her feel so special in the eyes of the Lord and how he is the only person who can help her heal, it was same as the tricks he used on me. He made her also feel like the only person who mattered. Like she was chosen. You see, like I said, I was thinking that nothing was happening between them until Titi called me one afternoon. She sounded different on the phone. It was like someone who is more scared and desperate about something. That was the day she told me that she was pregnant. I wanted to ask her on the phone about the person responsible. But I asked her to come over so we talk. When she came, immediately I felt something seriously was wrong with my friend. She looked pale, like her life has been drained from her. So that day she told me that Prophet Jude is responsible for her pregnancy. My heart sank in as I absorbed the shocking news. I felt my world crack open. The same man who had seduced me had done the same to my best friend. I could not possibly bring myself to tell her that he has done the same to me, knowing very well that I'm married. So, I suggested she go talk to the pastor and find out what best they can do. The next day, she called me and said that over the phone that she told me that she was keeping the baby. And that she can't do what he asked her to do. She said she was not going to allow him control her like that. Apparently, he had asked her to get rid of the pregnancy. At this point, honestly, I didn't know the exact thing I said to her. Because I was also dealing with my own struggles inside of me. I could hear the resolve in her voice. She wasn't going to back down, no matter what Prophet Jude said. But I also knew the danger she was in. Prophet Jude wasn't a man who let defiance go unpunished. Over time, Titi's behavior became erratic. She started to isolate herself, no longer answering her phone or showing up for meetings. I tried to reach her, but no matter how many times I called, she wouldn't pick up. I went to her house I think about 2 times and I didn't meet her. That was when it happened. After exactly 2 days, when I went to look for her, I was called to come to her house by this lady who was also a tenant who knew our friendship. When I got there, Titi was gone. Just like that. They said she fell from the balcony of our apartment. They said it was an accident. But I knew it wasn't. The fear in her eyes in the days before, the stress, the pressure from him. I knew that Prophet Jude had a hand in it. He didn't just kill her spirit. He killed her. I don't know what came over me that evening. I went to his house to confront him. I told him for the fact that I knew he was the person behind Titi's death. I made him know that his lies, manipulation and threats drove her to her demise. I remember him telling me that, do I really think I can stop him? And that is the chosen one. A messenger of God. He questioned me if I think I know what's best for Titi. And continued to tell me that she made her own choice. And it led her to her death. Brother, that day, my heart shattered as I heard the cold, detached words of the man I once trusted. That period I felt a sense of finality. Titi was gone, and there's no going back. I told myself that I couldn't let him get away with it. Not anymore. He had taken everything from me, my faith, my friend, my trust. After Titi died, after I found out the truth, everything inside me screamed for justice. I couldn't live with myself knowing that Prophet Jude had taken my best friend's life. But I didn't know how far he would go to protect his secret, to keep me silent. I didn't know what I was about to face. Titi didn't die because of some accident. He killed her, he pushed her to the edge, and when she refused to do what he wanted, he took her life. You see, after confronting him like that, I was thinking on how I would proceed and then tell the police of how all happened. The reason I took time was that I didn't know how things were going to feel like. This is because I am a married woman, and should my own affair with him come up, it was going to destroy my marriage. At first, I thought it was just my mind playing tricks. But then it started getting worse. People would follow me, watch me. I even saw one of the men who had been in the church, lurking around the corner of my street. I knew then that it was real. He had sent them. Prophet Jude had made his move. He wanted to silence me. That very evening, I remember getting a text on my phone. The person said that I will regret this. Prophet Jude's reach is far, and I am playing a dangerous game. I didn't know who I was messing with. I spent the next few days in a state of constant dread. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't think straight. Everywhere I went, it felt like someone was following me. I remember getting a call this time from the prophet himself. He asked me if I think I can take him down. That if I think I can destroy everything he's built. He warned me that I have no idea how far he was willing to go to protect what's his. He told me that I have made a terrible mistake, and that if I don't leave, he will ensure I never have a peaceful day again. The words hit me like a blow to the stomach. I knew I was in danger. That was when I made the plan to move from where I was living and relocate. I had no choice. I couldn't stay. I had to run. For my own safety, for the truth. Prophet Jude's influence was too strong, too dangerous. I had no idea how deep his reach went, how far he could send his people to silence me. So, that very night, I left. I left everything behind, my life, my home, my friends. I couldn't risk it. Prophet Jude had shown me the cost of defying him. I knew if I stayed, I'd be dead. I know someone might not understand my decision not to talk about him. The situation with these police, where when you give them information, they tend not to be able to protect you to the fullest, is what I fear the most. I know and have heard that, sometimes when you go and report these influential people in the society to them, some of them tend to leak the information to them. So I am scared to risk it all. Please, when you go to a church to worship, please and please again, no matter what happens, don't ever get involved with the pastor. The consequences are too serious than you might think.
Don't forget to please subscribe, share and like our videos. Kindly hit the notification bell so you will be the first to get notification to our videos when we upload. To anyone who places their trust completely in a prophet or spiritual leader, I want to share something from the depths of my heart. The basics of your spiritual journey is in your own hands. Learn to trust your instincts and learn to hear from your Creator and Father in heaven yourself. You cannot put your life and trust into the hands of someone you don't know their true intentions. Faith is a powerful thing. It gives us hope, direction, and the strength to overcome even the darkest times. But it's important to remember that faith should never blind us to the reality of the human nature we all carry, even those we admire and look to for guidance. Prophets and spiritual leaders are humans. They may be vessels of divine inspiration, but they also have their flaws, their struggles, and their secrets. Never forget that we all are imperfect beings, regardless of the titles we hold or the image we project to others. Even the ones who stand at the pulpit, who speak words of wisdom, may falter and live lives we cannot see. The power of faith is in knowing that it is okay to question, to seek the truth, and to not allow anyone, no matter how revered, to take control of your own spiritual journey. If you are still going to trust your leader or pastor, then it is equally important to keep your eyes open and your heart grounded. Ask questions when something doesn't feel right. Listen to your intuition. Don't ignore the small, quiet whispers inside you that tell you something isn't adding up. You have the right to protect your peace and your soul. Trust isn't blind loyalty, it's the act of following someone because their actions, their words, and their life align with what they preach. When those things begin to diverge, when you witness something that makes you uncomfortable, don't silence your own voice for the sake of loyalty or fear. Your spiritual health, your peace of mind, and your understanding of who you are is too important to be compromised by anyone's image or reputation. And remember, you are not alone. If you feel lost or confused, there are always others who share similar feelings. It's okay to seek support. It's okay to step back, reflect, and decide if this is the right path for you. Finally, protect your integrity. Your relationship with your faith should be personal, direct, and real. Don't let someone else's journey overshadow your own. You are worthy of clarity, truth, and the opportunity to grow spiritually in your own way, with or without the guidance of others. It's not easy to face the truth, especially when it challenges the things we've believed in for so long. But always remember, the truth, though difficult, will set you free. It will help you grow and find your path forward, with strength and clarity. Trust in yourself first, and always remember that faith, in its truest form, is meant to elevate you, not break you. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.